guys, so I'm just putting my hair back and then I'm going to grab my Too Faced primer. Basically, primer is supposed to go on before your foundation to make it last longer and to let your foundation go on as smooth as possible. And then I'm going to grab my eyebrow pencil and I'm just going to brush out my brow hairs, and then I'm going to fill in where there's sparse areas, and I really like to drag in the front of my brow just a little bit closer together, just because I have less hair there, and so I just like to make it look a little bit longer than what my normal brows look like. And then I'm just going to use the spoolie to brush them out. And then I'm also going to grab a angled brush with any concealer. It doesn't matter what concealer, but I'm just going to carve out my brows. I don't always do this, but since it's a glam look, I feel like your brows look a lot better carved out and it looks better put together. So I'm just doing that here. Now I'm just using that same concealer to act as an eyeshadow base, and basically this is just going to cancel out any discoloration you have on your eyelids, any veins that you have, and it just makes sure your eyeshadow goes on more pigmented. And you always want to make sure you set this concealer so that it does not crease. If you're an oily person, you definitely want to set it. Even if you're not oily, it just really helps so that your eyeshadow doesn't crease, and it just adds more coverage to it. And now I'm going to go in with this eyeshadow palette today for this look. And honestly, I got this for Christmas, so I don't know where to get it, but I can leave the name of it on the screen somewhere. I'm just going to go in with the transition shade so that it just sets the concealer even more and just blanks out any discoloration. And then I'm going to use this light tan shade in the crease of my eyelid. And I'm just using a fluffy blending brush and just blending it all around. And I'm focusing it more on the outer eyelid part. Then I'm going to use this darker orange shade. I use a lot of oranges and light browns all over the crease, and that just makes it look really seamless as you deepen the eyeshadow color. I'm using another blending brush. And you really just want to make sure you're blending that really well into the crease. And I kind of do circle motions, and then I do windshield wiper motions. And then, as you can see, I'm using only like 2 or 3 brushes for this, because you really it just depends how harsh you apply the product onto the brush. Because like I'm using a darker shade now, but I'm still using the same brush because I'm just putting a light amount on it, and I'm focusing it right in the corner of my outer eyelid. And you just want to kind of blend it in towards the inner corner, but not so much. And you just want to keep blending. That's the trick to all these eyeshadows. Then I'm going to go in with that orangey shade and just kind of blend that more. Now I'm going in with a smaller blending brush, and with the darker brown shade, I'm going to focus that in my corner, outer corner. And then I'm going to take a little bit on the black. You definitely want to go easy with the black because you can make it go crazy very easily. So I'm just focusing that in the outer corner. And then I'm picking up the bigger blending brush, just blending it all together and kind of focusing it all just in that crease. And here I'm just building up the color because I'm going to do a cut crease today. And the trick to doing cut creases is you really want to make the lid pretty much kind of messy and dark, because that's what's going to contrast your lid. Because typically you're using a glitter or a really light shade compared to it. So if you want it to stick out more, then that's how you're going to do it. Then I'm going to grab a concealer, doesn't matter what concealer, and then I'm going to just use a really small flat brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of that concealer and then just start putting that on my natural crease, as you can see here. And really it just takes practice to keep doing this, or to be able to do this. And sometimes I like to pull my eyelid just so it's more flat. I know this isn't good for your skin, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And then I'm going to go in with this NYX palette, and I'm just going to take that white shade and set it. And then I'm going to go in with this really light pink glittery shade with just a flat brush. And I'm just going to put that in the inner corner towards the middle, but not all the way. And I'm going to do kind of a gradient ombre look. So right under there is a darker pink, it's almost maroon. And I'm going to put that on top of the middle and then towards the outer corner. I ended up using my finger for that light shade just to make sure, or to make it pop even more. Some glitter shades you just have to do that. It's just how they're meant to be used, is with your finger instead of a brush. I think it's just the heat in your fingertips that make them apply better. And then I'm just going to use a fluffy brush and pick up some of those shades just to make it more darker so that the crease pops out more. The cut crease, sorry. Now I'm going to go in with my Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm going to go in the shade Vermeer. And I just use this for my inner corner. And now I'm going to go in with this NYX matte liquid liner. And surprisingly, I got this wing on the first try and didn't even have to clean it up, which almost never happens. And while it's drying, you definitely don't want to like open your eye super wide, or else it will transfer. And I kind of just flick out the wing and then drag it in. And I made kind of a small wing here because I wasn't sure how much the lashes were going to cover it up. So as you can see later on when I finish the other eye, I made the wings a lot longer, as you can see here. And then I'm going to go in with these foundations. I actually mixed two because one's dewy and then the other one is more coverage with a matte base. So it just, that mixture really just makes a really velvety finish. So then I'm going to just blend that with my Real Technique sponge, and then I'm going to use this concealer, and it's the same concealer, Estee Lauder. And I pretty much just highlight all the high points of my face here, and I'm just going to blend that in. And then I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder with that same beauty sponge, and just set that so it does not crease. And this is a really dewy foundation mixture, so I just definitely want to set my face so that it does not move at all. And then I'm going to go in with my Estee Lauder bronzing powder, and it's in Bronze Goddess in the color Deep. I'm just using a fluffy bronze blush, or bronzing brush, sorry, and just going basically around my cheekbones and around my forehead, and then also going to carve out my jawline with it. As you can see, I love my bronzer. And then I'm going to use that translucent powder to carve out my contour. I'm going to use this Morphe setting spray to set my whole face in place. And then I'm using this Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive just to highlight. This is one of my favorite parts. And then I just kind of blend it all in to make it seem more seamless with the beauty sponge. And then I'm going in with this lip liner in All Natural. And then I'm using L'Oreal in the shade 900 Glossy Fawn. So this is the final look. This is my Fall Glam tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe, like, or comment.